who's joined us on Zoom to join in as well. And say hello to Laura, Jennifer, and Michael. Thank you guys so much for joining us.
You're welcome.
Hi.
So just to do a quick intro. So Laura, just tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're based, what part of the world you're in, because we have people from all over the world joining these things, and what you major in this wonderful industry of ours.
Okay, so I live in Cambridge, Cambridge, England, obviously, which the accent doesn't go with the location. The accent's from Edinburgh, so understanding Ronan's not a problem, unlike some people. I actually teach photography more than I sell it, but I'm recently started trying to do pet photography, so that's why I'm here. That's the teaching part's okay. Well, it was before COVID, not so good now, but yeah. So that's my pet photography business is a very new business in its infancy. It's a baby business.
A baby business.
It's a baby business.
Very good. So it's a pup of a business.
Yeah, well, yeah, no, that's true. Yeah, it is a puppy.
A puppy. Very good. Michael, how are you?
Okay, my wife and I own a portrait studio in New Jersey, and we specialize in families on the beach and wall portraits. That's our thing.
Very good. Very good. And Jennifer, all the way from Hawaii, and it's early in Hawaii. I've always wanted to be in Hawaii, ever since when I was growing up, we had a Buckham Dano. Steve McQueen, was that? Yeah. So I've from a young boy, I've always wanted to get to Hawaii. I haven't been there yet, but when I do, I'll be calling and saying hello.
Good. I like that.
So tell everyone about you, Jennifer.
So I have been a baby and children's portrait photographer for 15 years. And I am now shifting gears and going to painted portraits. And I think primarily of children, but it's a business where people will submit photographs to me and I paint from there.
Excellent. Okay, so we're going to have a look at some websites, your websites. So you're very brave people to come on here with me and go through websites. But okay,
well, that messes with my head. How can you have that as your desktop?
Oh, there's that. Are you seeing that? I didn't want you to see that. I don't want you to see that. That's how my brain is, guys. That's how my brain is. Let's try again. That's the trouble you see when I've got two things open at once. I'm an awful clown sometimes. Here we go. There we go. I'm sorry to put you through that. If poor Yeti is on with us today, he'll go absolutely lula. Because one day in the inner hive, I think Jonathan was in a presentation and he showed his desktop and it was far neater than mine was just there, and he nearly lost it. Anyway, let's get into the website. So Laura, you're very brave to be the first one up.
Yeah,
so,
well, I didn't volunteer for that.
So you've given us an idea as to what your business is. So the important thing to remember is I'm looking at this from a perspective of a couple of things. So I'm taking story brand principles and applying them to your website.
Okay.
And I'm going to bring you some tips to how I think it can be improved. And I'm also going to encourage you to consider this piece here. So you all have it, mobile phone.
Okay.
Because when we started to build websites first, the mobile phone wasn't here. And we got into a habit of creating websites for desktops, which involved people having to click on different links to get to places. But with the mobile phone, which is the vast majority of search now, this is where people will be searching, trying to figure out if you're right for them, is on their mobile. And with a mobile, as you know, it's a scroll, right? We don't click off on things unless it's an advert we see on Facebook or wherever to bring us to an offer or a landing page. So we've got to make sure that our website is built that all the information that's key is on the page that the client visits. And Laura, you've told us that you've a couple of things going on, right? You have a teaching business, and
Yep.
then you've got your studio pet portrait business. That's the
Yep.
the new business. So we have to be careful too that we make sure that we treat them separately. It doesn't mean they can't be on the same website page, but if we're driving traffic and we're using SEO to get our Google rankings up, or using Google AdWords, to capture people when they're searching on Google, you need to make sure that you bring them to the relevant page. So you don't bring them to the home page. You bring them to the page that's relevant. So if you're targeting pet photography and your SEO is built around that and your Google AdWords for that in your area, the page you bring them to is your pet photography page. And then if you're targeting people for your teaching, the page you bring them to is your teaching page. Okay. So the first thing to bear in mind is that when anybody visits a website, we follow a Z or a Z pattern, depending which part of the world you're in. You'll call it either a Z or a Z, which means that we start with the top left and we scroll all the way across the top. And then we go down the Z or the Z down to the bottom left-hand corner and then back across. So that's the pattern that we use with our eyes. So what we call prime real estate on a website, just like if you're in a high street store, your main window out onto that high street is really important. This prime real estate up top is really important. So what we like to see is we like to see this uncluttered. We like to see the logo either where you have it in the center or over on the left-hand side. So we see it first. And what I love about your logo, Laura, is if you didn't have the word photography there, I wouldn't know what you were. Yeah, you could be into dog grooming, or you could be a vet, you could be anything. So that's really good that you have that there. So straight away when I come here, I know you're a photographer. So what I would like to see is you do have what we call an indirect call to action. So what's an indirect call to action? And this is really important with your websites, everybody who's watching, that when somebody comes here, you have a couple of seconds. That's all you have to make a connection. And they want to be able to see really quickly what you are and what you do, and are you right for them? And they want to know what's in it for them. They don't care how many awards you've won or how great a studio you have. They want to know what's the problem you're solving for them. But they've also got to know what action you want them to take. So Laura's Let's Chat button here is what we would call an indirect, or it could be a direct call to action, depending on how you see it. But it's to start a conversation. The reason why I'm calling it an indirect call to action, a lot of people would have the Let's Chat as a direct call to action, in that that's sort of the hardest sale you're going to do at this stage of your sales process. But you have a book now that I can book now. So that's why I've said that I see that Let's Chat as an indirect call to action. Other indirect call to actions, and you guys are using marketing funnels, which are effectively web pages that you're driving traffic from Facebook to. But an indirect call to action can be, in this case, a guide, the 7 essential things to consider when bringing your pet for a photographic session. And why do we have that? The reason why we have an indirect call to action and a direct call to action is your indirect call to action is built to capture the contact details of a potential client who's not ready to jump across the bridge yet and book you. Because if you're doing a lot of work to get your SEO to make sure you're highly ranked on Google, and you're maybe spending money on Google AdWords, you're going to have traffic that come here that you have to give them something of value, wherever they perceive that, in return for their details. Because often they're just at the research stage. They've recognized that they would need a photographer. They've searched in Google. They've come to your website because Google has placed it there, or you've run a Google AdWord to bring them to it. And when they come here, they're just in research mode. They're not ready to make a commitment yet. So they're building their knowledge around who you are and whether you're right for them. So that's why we like to have an indirect call to action to capture their detail. So I'd prefer to either replace the Let's Chat and the book. Now you can keep both, but try and introduce something that has a value of some kind normally between 10 and £10, $15, if you take that approach, that somebody's going to be willing to give you their email address in return for that piece of value.
Okay.
That's what we're trying to do there. So this direct call to action, I would want to be up here beside your let's chat.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's prime real estate. And see all this other stuff here? Many story, Donald Miller of StoryBrand would say, put that in the junk drawer. What does he mean with that? He means put it down the very end of the website. Now, we haven't done that with our website because I just can't bring myself to do it, being perfectly honest. But he teaches that up here should be just your direct call to action and your indirect call to action. And everything else should go in the junk drawer. Okay, so here's the other important thing. You know, when you see a newspaper, you go into a newsagents, or when we used to go into newsagents, and you know the editors worked really, really hard to have the headline that we would see when the newspaper's folded in half. And they used to call that, and still call it, above the fold. It's the bit that somebody sees first. The same applies to your website, in that you want what's above the fold that the person sees on the screen, that they don't have to scroll to see the key message. And the key message has to be around what's in it for them. And there's sort of there's a three-stage process to that to help you through that process. One is, what's the problem your ideal client has? How do you solve it? And how are they transformed when they avail of your service? So Laura, what would you say, and I know this is new for you, this part of the business, but what would you say is the biggest problem your ideal client has with regards to pet photography?
That's a very good question. Who is my ideal client? Not sure I can answer that.
Okay, so that's the first bit of work we have to do, is try and determine what that problem is. And quite often you'll hear it in when you build up a portfolio of clients, you'll hear it in their testimonials when you ask them, to explain how they feel about the experience that they had having gone through your photographic experiences. You'll also understand it from the objections that you hear quite often, and that will help you frame that. So, you're starting to get to it here. Yeah. Does your pet mean the world to you? I know mine does. So that's more of your why. That's why you're doing pet photography, because of how important your pet is and the importance of capturing those pets in professional photography that you can enjoy long after they've left this world. So it's what I'd ask you to do is, what does that actually mean? What does your pet mean the world to you? What does that actually translate to as the problem? So the problem might be time. Yeah, time is a big thing, because people are known to put off photography, unless there's a reason to take action now. I know when in my life, all through the years when our kids were younger, I would say, we'll get to that eventually, that feeling. Or I'm sure you've heard that from your clients. So I would say time could be something here you can play on, that you can build that into what you're doing. So I want to see that key language up here above the fold, wherever that message is that is going to identify the client problem, portray your solution, and the transformation that might be.
Okay.
And I know you're doing the BSA Mastermind Business Success Plan. So as part of that, we'll be building your elevator pitch, which will form the foundation to this language that will help you with that.
Okay.
Okay. So then as I scroll through the website, okay, I love this. So, and here's a bit that's often missing, which is, what's the process? What's the process for me as the buyer? Because we as photographers assume that the client will know what they have to do, because we know our business so well. We overlook that the people visiting our website might not have a clue what the process is, because they're at that research mode. They're building their knowledge as to, so what's involved if I want to get photographs of my pets done, yeah, or my dogs in particular. So, but I would lay this out a little bit different. So what I would do is I would have the plan no more than 4 steps. A lot of photographers do just 3 steps. If you are doing a 4th step, do you remember we talked about a little bit earlier, the problem, the solution, the transformation? I like to see the 4th step as the transformation. So in this case, it's imagine, and imagine is a great word because imagine opens up our mind to start visualizing, and that's what you're trying to do with your clients. So imagine enjoying professional portraits, and what was the word you used up here? Of the dog that means so much to you. Yeah, that's the transformation, because after they've gone through your service, you know, they've bought their wall art or their album or whatever you're selling them as an end product from the experience of capturing the pet. So there's an idea for a lead magnet. A lot of people are afraid, you know, they might be afraid that their dog will never stand still, yeah, to get some photographs. So we see some pet photographers who do dogs, you know, showing that you don't have to worry about this. I'm a professional. This is how I do it. And they'll show some examples of where the dog is on a lead, but obviously the lead is not in the end portrait. Yeah. So, but you get to understand that as you talk to your client. So in the plan, I like to see a 1, a 2, and a 3, and a 4 going from left to right across with an icon that represents it. But I don't want them clicking off, going somewhere else to find the information. You just want an icon with the main headline as to what's involved in this part of the process, and then the rest of detail underneath it. I like the way your direct call to action book now is following me down the screen. So the book now button, the direct call to action, should never be out of sight as someone scrolls your website. Okay, I'm going to click onto the teaching bit, Laura, just to give you some feedback on this. Okay, so this is really important, and this is have you got an about? You do. Okay, so this is do you remember we talked a little bit earlier about how people click? We've built websites for people to click to get the information. That's now gone with the scroll. So the bit about you, which is building, you know, that you've got the authority and that you've got empathy to be a teacher of photography, we need to get onto that teaching page. So again, all the other points that we've made, that we've discussed about the dog pet page, we need to get onto the teaching page with the same structure, but that page also has to include about you. Okay. And then I don't know if you've got any testimonials, have you? No.
No.
So if you can get some testimonials about what your clients have said that you've taught, and their feedback and the difference it's made to them, to their lives and stuff. Now, here's going to be a real controversial statement. You write the testimonial, but you don't make it up. So the controversial bit is you write the testimonial, but what all you do is when you ask your client to describe their experience, you take their words, you build it into a statement that you know that is short and to the point, and then you send it to them and say, is this what you said about your experience with my business? Yeah. So you're not actually making it up, because some people think that's what I'm suggesting when I say things like that. I'm not. I'm saying, but you need to write it to make sure it's built around the structure that you want, that it's short and understandable. Yeah, because if you get them to write it and you use every word that they write, it won't be clear and concise. And then it also allows you then to write something that you know are the key objections that you get from clients. So your testimonial should be used to build trust with a potential client by addressing the key objections that you hear day in, day out from a client. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think there's plenty there to work with. What do you think?
Yeah, I think I've got enough to go on. Yes, thank you.
Okay, excellent. Right. Let me just move this over here if I can. Okay, Jennifer. Okay, let's go to the top. Okay, so Jennifer, I love the way you've put your logo in the top left, so it's there, and I can understand too that what you do, that it's custom portrait artistry, right? So custom portrait artistry. So you know exactly what that means, Jennifer. I'm not sure what that is exactly. I know because we've had the conversation, because we've talked, I've done a website review for you before, right? So with yourself and Bobby. So what I'd like to do is, it's here when I get here, painted portraits reflecting your love. So what we want to do is, and the work is amazing, by the way, just so you know, and I love, okay, let's start with what I love, right? Because I tend to go on the, this is what you need to improve, because I want you to make some improvements, but let's just talk about what's brilliant. So the logo is brilliant. We may need to revisit these words a little bit, or if not these words, put in a tagline underneath it that gets it across. Commission a painting. So there's your direct call to action. Love that. It's there. I'm going to take action, and it's uncluttered up here. What else do I love? I love the way you are presenting to the client. You're painting a picture in their head as to what the end product is going to be here. Like, I'm in no doubt looking here, there's going to be a piece of art that's going to be a big piece of art that's going to go into my sitting room or my living room or whatever. Yes, so you're anchoring that early in the sales process, and I love that. It's excellent. And painter portraits reflecting your love. Talk to us about that, Jennifer. Where's that come from?
What do you mean by that, I guess?
Okay, what I'm wondering about is reflecting your love. Where is that coming from?
So it's an investment that people will be taking a photograph or a special time and elevating it to something really, really special that they would not necessarily do like several of them. They would take something very, very special.
Okay, so here's the key thing in StoryBrand. Have any of you guys, you signed up to StoryBrand, and you get Donald Miller's emails? Yeah, some of you are. Okay, so here's one of the key things he teaches, right? And I've done this all the time over the years, right? If you try and be too clever, you don't connect.
Okay.
Right? And I've made this mistake for years on our websites, trying to be clever with the words I use, and therefore I'm not to the point in addressing what's the client problem and how do I solve it. So what I'd ask you to do is, these words they're lovely words and it looks amazing, yeah, but I'm just asking you the question, do you think your client will know what problem you solve here, and what their problem actually is? So are you suggesting that, reflecting your love, are you suggesting that too often we put off getting portraits created that show the love we have for those close to us?
I would say too often we don't display those.
We don't display. Okay.
What's important to us.
Excellent. So then that's what you need. You need to capture wording around that. Okay. So the problem is that too often we don't display photographic art of those we love. We solve that problem for you through the experiences we offer. Imagine enjoying photographic art that reflects the important relationships that you have. Okay. Yeah. The imagery is amazing, by the way. So let's commission a painting to let's chat. Okay. So is let's and then we've got learn more. So talk to me about the difference between commission a painting, learn more, and let's chat.
I would say there's nothing.
Okay, so
they all go to the same place.
Okay.
So I have been tossing around the idea that commission a painting would possibly go to a scheduler, but haven't done anything at that point.
Okay, so if that is, then is that a scheduler for them to have a design consultation with you? Okay. So that would be your direct call to action. It's sort of jumping ahead of I'm really interested if I'm going to click on that button, right? You know, I've 80% made up my mind now. But there'll be people who aren't at that 80% made up their mind yet. So that might be, let's chat, let's have a chat about your needs. And they might go to the same place, but do you see the way the language is different, that it's appealing to me at a different stage of where I am in making my decision that you're right for me. Yeah. Your business is right for me. And then, do you remember we talked, and you've done this I think we've talked about lead magnets before in Business Success Academy. You could have a lead magnet here as an indirect call to action.
Okay.
And that might be around, let's think of a topic for this. It could be the three main reasons why you need to reflect the relationships with those important to you in photographic art or portrait artistry, or whatever your language is. Yeah. Okay. Talk to me about this.
Okay, so this is not my original idea. It's from another photographer, but you have the slider there to show people often leave photographs or pictures, snapshots on their phones and do nothing with it. But they may have a special moment that's really, really treasured that stays on that phone for years and years, even though they might take the other images off their phone. And so it's people to.
So what you're doing here then is you're not doing the whole service, right?
Correct.
So you're not creating the base photograph that you're turning into the art. You're offering a service to turn other people's photographs into works of art.
Yes, that's
okay.
Even though I will do the focus will be on taking their photos.
The focus will be on taking their photos?
No, I meant taking an image that they already have.
Okay, that they already have. Okay, right. Now, this is a really important point, because what you're doing here is relatively a new concept, and we need to get that across in our language up here. Okay. Because when I scrolled the website earlier before we came on, see this image here? This captures it more for me. Because we have the base photograph, we have the photographic art, and we have it on the wall, right? Celebrate the stories of the people you love from the images that live on your phone.
Okay.
We need to get that across, that you're not, because people will assume that you're creating the base photograph for this product. 99 out of 100 people. Well, let's just ask Laura and Michael, did you think that was the case before we've got this far?
No, I thought she was taking the portraits and making paintings from them.
Okay. So, and that's what I would say, Jennifer, is 99% of people will think that, will make that assumption. So we need to take a line, something like this. I love this. Celebrate stories of the people you love. Yeah. So that's telling me, celebrate the stories of people you love from the images that currently live on your phone. Or something like that. And then that's up here. And now I'm clear, because if I'm looking for a, and then your indirect call to action might be, you commission a painting, or let's have a chat might change to schedule your free design consultation, so we can look at the images on your phone together that are important to you to see if they're suitable. Yeah, that's two long words, but that would be sort of the step in the process, because that's going to be a big fear I would have, that I don't have a photograph that's good enough to do this.
Right.
So I'm going to rely on your expertise for you to guide me in that. And if I know you're going to guide me in that, I'm not going to have to spend any money with you until you've had a look at them and you give me advice. You say, yes, that's the one that we can work with. after you've gone through the whole emotional building with them and anchoring that this is an important relationship and what feeds that relationship. And you can use all the skills you use in your photographic business to determine, what image on the phone actually resonates with them, because what you can do with that photograph. That you can turn nearly any photograph into a piece of art, and using the skills that you're using here.
Okay.
But that's going to be a fear. That's a fear I would have as a consumer, because I've been programmed by our industry to say that you can't do this without I taking the photograph too.
Yeah.
So we need to get, how does it work? Okay. Remember, children are the most precious gifts. So I love this line. So I think there's something in this line and this line, the wording and the connections you're making with the words are getting better as I scroll. Yeah. And so we need to get that up front.
Okay.
So that we get that emotion up here, the emotion as to what the problem is and what the solution is, because the word here is this is suggesting time too, because we all know children grow up fast, for those of us who had children. So remember, children are life's most precious gift. You're sort of planting the seed. When I read that, it's planting the seed that, you don't have forever to do this. Take action now. And I know that's a little bit different with you, because I could put this off for 10 years. And if I still have the photo on my phone, but the photo probably won't be on my phone because my phone will have fallen and cracked and I won't have had them backed up and all that good stuff.
That's true.
So, and see this, help build a child's self-esteem through fine art portraits. I love that line. Because we know that's a fact, right? The research there is to show it, that children who've been exposed to photographic art within their home, on the wall, in albums and folio boxes, they have a higher self-esteem than children who don't, in the main. And there's research there to back that up. So you're creating a healthier society in mind, body, and spirit by making sure this happens. Yeah. So I love that. How to get started. Schedule your complimentary consultation. So this is your direct call to action, I would have thought, because I don't think anyone is going to jump from a position of, on the website, I have photos on my phone, I know what you do, and I'm just going to commission you straight away because I'm going to be fearful. So that's your direct call to action, is schedule your complimentary consultation. So that's what comes up here as your direct call to action button.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So you've all the elements here, Jennifer. All we're doing is moving stuff around a little bit. Yeah. And then you've got some imagery there to show the process. So what would be really good, and I don't know if you can do this, but what I would like to see is the story around this image reflected in a testimonial. So if this was for whoever it was, and the parents said, what this means to them, and that they were putting it off, and just be careful. See this image here?
Yes.
I don't believe I can create that image from my mobile phone. I don't know whether I can or not, but I don't believe I can. Yeah. I do believe I could create that image possibly.
Right.
So just be careful about the images you show here. I don't know whether you actually shot these and then you're showing the transformation or not, but just be careful, because people will see that and they'll say, oh no, there's no way I don't know how to do that on a mobile phone. It has to be on a white background,
Mm-hmm.
So just think about those things too. Try and think as the consumer will think looking at it, because because what I will do as the consumer, I look at this and say, oh no, I don't have an image that good on my phone. I can't do that against a white background. So I'm gone straight away because I believe I don't have anything good enough. So the more, this is a terrible word to say, but the more amateurish you can show this photo turned into this, the better.
Mm-hmm. No, I get that. I have, I'm trying to build the portfolio in that respect.
Yes, I understand, because it's a new business and you're taking photography that you may have taken and turned it into this. But just think about, I know a professional has taken that, and I know I can't take that with my mobile phone. Or I believe I can't. Maybe I can, but I don't believe I can. So just be careful. You know the way it's been used quite a bit in boudoir and glamour and makeover, you know, the before and after.
Mhm.
And quite often there's a distinct difference between the before and after, right? So we want to capture that here too, the difference between the before and after. Learning most stretching in a permanent way. I am ready. Yes, I'm ready. And here's the process. 1, 2, 3. So just try and put a 1 in front of the chat, a 2 and a 3, because people logically follow numbers. So I know we all read left to right, but just in case, it's a number just reinforces that it's a process to me, you know, that, and that it's aligning then with my buying process as the buyer. And I love the way you're getting your why in here. And I love the way you've reflected your picture in the same end product and experience that you're giving the client. And then your testimonials. So if we can get these testimonials linked to the images you're showing here and build a story around them. So what are the objections? So we discussed one of them already tonight. One of the objections you're going to have from the consumer is, I don't believe I have a photograph good enough to do this. Yeah. So that might be, I actually didn't believe that this quality photographic artistry could be created from an image that was on my phone. It's only when I took Jennifer up on her free design consultation and we explored the images together that I started to believe it was possible. Do you see? So that now the testimonial is dealing with the objection that may be there.
Yes. That's great.
Is that helpful?
Very, thank you.
Okay, good. Michael. Okay. So Michael, right. Okay. So this is the home page, isn't it, Michael?
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. So when I see the home page, you're asking me to make a commitment very, very early. So if you imagine the people who are coming to your homepage, they're searching on Google and they're seeing an AdWord or they're seeing your SEO and it's bringing them to the homepage, right? But I know nothing about you yet. I know I want a photographer because I've searched for one on Google, but I don't know you yet. And straight away you're asking me to jump in for an appointment. I'm scared. It's a little bit too early to ask for them to take that without building a little bit. We do want that direct call to action, but the first thing I focus on is what's the line, and the first line here is you're saying to me, just book now, just book it or schedule it. Yeah. So what we need to do here is we want this to be a direct call to action up here, and we want it to be here, but we need a line of text that goes above that says what the problem is, how you solve it, and what the transformation is.
Okay.
So you've just got to design that language there. And we're going to have a look at a minute of one of your Santa funnels, right? Mm-hmm. Which you've managed to do in that. So what we want to do is try and take your thought process of what you did there and apply it here.
Okay.
Okay. So this is Donald Miller is it Donald Miller or someone else? Someone else talks about this in that what's happening here is you're walking down the street, you see a beautiful woman across the road who you absolutely think is amazing. She's gorgeous, right? And you walk up and you say, will you marry me? It's way too early, right? Because you haven't been on a date yet and she doesn't know you.
So should I get rid of that completely then?
No. What I would do is, you see the way you've got the schedule? The schedule then is, well, you tell me, is that to schedule a consultation?
Yes.
Okay, so that's your direct call to action. right?
Okay.
So we want the direct call to action to be up here, top right, that when I'm ready to take action, I can. And if I am ready to buy, I'll buy. But we need language here that solves the problem of letting me know when I land here, what's the problem I have and how do you solve it? And what's the transformation?
Okay.
Yeah. Again, amazing work, but I need language here to go with that work that explains it. Now, are you saying to me here that there's two different types of portrait sessions you're offering?
Right. My wife will do paintings,
Okay.
and then she'll also do traditional portraits.
Okay. So I wouldn't go into that detail just here yet. Perhaps it might be a little bit early. What I would, which is the main part of the business?
Photographic portraits, but my wife wants it to be the paintings.
Okay.
We only started offering paintings maybe about 3 years ago.
Okay. So, okay, let me just explain what I'm feeling when I come here, right? You're asking me to make a decision now without knowing anything about which of these I prefer. And therefore I'm confused. And
Okay.
therefore it's easier for me just to go and find another photographer that I'm not confused, or another photographic artist. So what I would do is I would choose the oil painting commissioned as the main image. I love the way it's framed because you're framing for what I need to do. Even better if we could have that like Jennifer did in a location on a client wall or wherever so you're anchoring that up front, right? And then some language underneath it that reflects what the problem is, how do you solve it, and the transformation.
Okay.
And now I'm not as confused, and I understand, if we're in transition from here to here, I understand the desire to get this on this page, but we can reflect that a little bit later or somewhere else. So it may be that we have two separate offerings and two separate pages, and we just direct traffic to different ones, using different SEO techniques or whatever for the website page. But the same will apply when you start to build a funnel for this. Yeah, we will want your marketing funnel where you're directing traffic to it, that when they come, you're either pushing this through your ad copy and the images you're presenting to a potential client. So these sort of images and the photographic portraits that you're pushing will go to a funnel that talks about that.
Right.
And oil painted commissions will go to a funnel talking about that.
Okay.
So then, so I love the way the book your session follows me down. So that's the direct call to action. This contact us form is probably a little bit too early in the process again, because I don't know who you are yet. So when I get to here and here, I haven't a clue who you are yet.
Okay.
So you need to build. I've got to get to know, like, and trust you a bit more before I take that main call to action. Yeah. So early on, we want to deal with that. So we want to deal with why I need to have what you're offering. What's the problem you're solving? How do you solve it? This is me. This is me. This is my empathy. This is my authority. This is the plan and the process that we will go through. Now, do you want to contact me?
Okay.
So click this button to contact me. So you've dealt with, and then your testimonial should even come before that, before a contact form.
Okay. All on the home page.
All on the home page. So on the home page, and that's a great question. So on the home page, you have to have the language that shows the client the minute above the fold. What's the problem? How do you solve it? What's the transformation? Then you want to then build for them some empathy as to why you're a photographer, why it's important, why photography is important for them, and how you've the authority to do this for them and solve the problem for them. Then what's the plan? So what's the process that I'm going to go through? So if it's a pre-shoot consultation or design consultation, then you're going to come in for the photographic session. Then you're going to come in for the sales session to decide what's right for you and how we're going to present that. And then the final step then is enjoying that commissioned oil painting forever on your wall. Yeah.
Gotcha.
And then we want testimonials then backing that up. So here's the thing. There's nothing more powerful than video. People love video. People love watching video. But sometimes we think as photographers that we need to have a high-end video. We don't. You know, a simple testimonial taken with your phone when they collect the work is good enough.
So you like video testimonials?
Just video testimonials. There's nothing more powerful than a video testimonial. The other thing that there's nothing more powerful to is a behind the scenes video. You know, a behind the scenes video that explains the process. They can see the process with your wife working on the painting as well as part of that process, you know, for the oil paintings commissioned. Like some of the imagery here in the background is sort of alluding to that because I can see the paintbrushes and stuff. But if you have a video that shows the whole process, the experience, the base artwork being created and then turned into a painting and being painted, if they're hand, you know, if they're hand painted element to it, that will just absolutely capture for the client straight up as to what's involved.
And that should be on the homepage.
On the homepage. So this is the thing. Everything has to be on the homepage, the whole story.
Okay.
And if you're a photographer, and I think when we had Guy on, you know, he's multiple different genres. So somebody may come to his homepage and he tells the whole story, but he might be doing, say, fairy shoots and headshots and other stuff. In case someone comes to the homepage, he'll still tell the whole story, but he'll say, click here for more information, like you have here. Yeah. And it'll bring me to another page. So let's do that now. So when I click on that, right, we have to follow the same system for every page on our website.
Okay.
Because what's going to happen in time is you're going to, do you use Google AdWords, Michael?
Yes, I have.
Okay.
Yes, I have.
Okay. So if you're using Google AdWords or you're writing blogs to build SEO and all that sort of stuff, you will make sure that your Google AdWords that are targeting a client who wants an oil painting, you will bring them not to this page, but you will bring them straight to a page that's just about the oil painting.
Correct.
Yeah. And somebody then who is looking for photographic portraits, you'll bring them to a page that just deals with photographic portraits.
Correct.
Yeah. But those individual pages, therefore, have to answer all the questions for the client. Because remember, they're going to be here, so they're not going to be clicking off. And because we're now being trained that we scroll a website, we're automatically being trained even on desktop to scroll.
Okay.
So I don't want to be clicking off somewhere else. I want all the information that we just discussed as to the key elements laid out on that page.
Scroll. Okay.
Scroll.
All right.
And what I love, Michael, is I'm going to share this now. So this is a funnel that Michael has built for your Christmas sessions, right?
Yeah, my never-ending funnel. It's one page. It went on forever.
And that's
what you're talking about, right?
That's what I'm talking about. So a funnel landing page is just a fancy word for a website page, right? The difference is that people who come to our website they've already become aware that they need a photographer. They've already started to build their knowledge by looking at different photographers, by Googling the name. Yeah. And they're the people who are coming to your website page. Where your funnel, and why we call it a funnel rather than a website page, but all it is a website page, is because you're directing traffic with your Facebook advertising to this page. Yeah. And
Okay.
we just use that just to distinguish it. But the principles of your website and your landing funnel page are exactly the same in terms of what you're trying to achieve.
Okay. Makes sense.
So again, you've got your direct call to action here. Book your 2020 Santa experience, click here. But here, see the text that's here?
Mhm.
Just believe, like that just captures me straight away. Just believe, yeah? Because it absolutely is associated with Christmas, isn't it? And what you're doing. Even if you aren't sure about Santa, there is something you should know. He himself, straight away, you're just sucking me in with the story, yeah?
Okay.
So I'm connecting with the language straight away. I love the way you're getting scarcity in here, so limited spots available. So you could do the same with the photographic. Sorry, I've forgotten the exact language. Let me just go back here. With the oil commission paintings, yeah, you could build into it this scarcity as well. That we only do 3 of these a month, or whatever the number is. It doesn't matter what it is, but build the scarcity in. Yeah.
So if I have a page like this for paintings,
Yes.
right? And then
Yes.
I'll have a separate one for beach portraits, which is pretty much our biggest at the moment source
Yes.
of sessions.
Yes.
Where would it dive? Like, so somebody lands on this and they said, I don't really want to paint, or say somebody lands on the beach page.
Yes.
And they decide, I'd really think I might, where would it diverge so they would see where the other page is? Does that make any sense what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if you're scrolling through all this, like, how do I know that I do paintings?
They don't need to know, because
Okay.
you're directing the traffic here from people who, with your advertising, you're targeting people who want to have a Santa experience, a storybook experience with Santa.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the same will apply to these, because what we're getting confused about sometimes is one, traffic is bought traffic in terms of we're putting advertising on Facebook to bring them to an offer,
Right.
which is your Santa page. But it takes as much work or more work to get your SEO ranking up, yeah, with blogging and everything else for this. So you want them, when they come to the webpage, that it's SEO'd for that offering in the same way. And if you're then paying Google with your Google AdWords, you're doing the same. You're bringing them to a page that's relevant to that. But the principles that are applied here need to apply to your website. And you see how you've put an emphasis on language here and the story.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we need to get onto the website.
So it's basically, so we're talking, in essence, if I read you correctly, a website for each one separately almost.
Yeah, they can sit together on a homepage if someone finds the homepage, yeah.
Yeah.
But you're not going to direct traffic to your homepage.
Right, you're directing it straight to beach portraits or straight to paintings.
Exactly. Including with your Google AdWords, and including, if you are doing SEO, including with your SEO, you're trying to bring them to those pages.
Got you. Okay.
Yeah. So what I loved about this too is, see this, a countdown timer? Love that. It's so ideal for this. And if you do theme portraits at all, guys, a countdown timer is just a great way to instill, I have to take action now. I can't put this off. If I put it off, it's going to be too late. So you're building scarcity and you're also time bounding it. So I love that. And the other thing that I really love is the video. Now, if I was to be critical about this, I'd want to see this video further up.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, I'm in it, so that's why it's down there. So, okay.
So I want to see it a little bit up further, the video. But, this has been a really performing funnel for you, right? So you've booked a lot of sessions.
This is our second year doing Santa. So last year I made this funnel. I've tweaked it, but I didn't know how to, we weren't known for it. Nobody knew we did it. So we kind of almost did it last minute. and we did a little bit of advertising. So last year we did 8 sessions last year with this. And so then I tweaked it. Like I changed this image. This was the best image on our Facebook ad. So I used that image from there. But so this year we booked 40 sessions.
Wow.
So,
That is amazing. Amazing. So congratulations. Well done.
we haven't done them yet, but thank you.
I know, but yeah, I know. But like to go from 8 to 40 is amazing. And I loved, you said something there that people probably have missed, that you're using Facebook advertising to drive traffic to this landing page. And when you did your dynamic creative, you tested different images, and this was the one that was the winner.
This way, I've tested probably about 10 separate images in our Facebook ads, and this one, for whatever reason, just wins hands down. So I just used it. I use it in everything now.
Excellent. And that's why it's here, right? So it's the first image I see.
And in the SEO and the ClickFunnels, it's in there too.
Excellent. Excellent. So, so hopefully, guys, I'm going to just stop the share to see if you guys have any questions for me on anything.
No, I guess I got to redo everything. There.
No, you don't have to redo everything. No, you don't have to redo everything.
I got to rearrange everything. How's that?
Exactly. Okay. And you know, that's what this is all about. Is sometimes we just get, because like you've built an amazing funnel there for Santa, right? That is literally connecting with the client because it's one offer.
Right.
It's connecting with the client because you're using language that connects. You know, the problem is that just believe, you know, straight away you had me. Like I'm just going to read, right?
Okay.
So you're dragging me into your world and you're telling me the difference that this is going to make, and that these moments won't be here forever. You know, that your child wanting this experience won't be here forever. You know, so do it now. And guess what? I only have a limited number of sessions, and here's the dates. Don't put it off because when they're gone, they're gone. You know, it's just all coming true to me. You know, I want to take action now. Okay,
cool.
Okay, so we've a couple of questions, guys, from somebody. So the Robin wants to know, I'm a pet photographer, and the problem I solve is creating memories of my clients' dogs because their lives are so short. So Robin, just take that and just craft it into, you know, 2 short lines that just capture that, you know, and the solution that you give. So, yeah, look, some marketeers hate the fact that some people play on fear. I'm not one of those. I generally lead with fear. So you know, I would be happy to take that and put it into something like, you love your dog, but they won't be here forever. So, you know, so I would have no problem starting with that line as the problem. I wouldn't with people, but I would with I would be happy to do with a pet, but maybe that's because I'm not a dog lover. I'm not an animal lover, full stop. So but you'll know what you need to do. But yeah, but that's literally it. Like time is a big thing, you know. For those of you who know Mary Taylor, like Mary is, she uses this all the time in her family portrait sessions because her family have flown the nest, you know, in terms of they've gone through university and stuff. And she uses language like, you mightn't realize it now, but you only have 18 summers.
Yeah, it's a great line.
You know, and I think it's ingenious because it just captures that don't be putting this off. Seriously, don't, because they'll be gone, you know. So so think about that as to what the problem is, and then that you're there to solve it, and that the transformation is, you know, they will have these memories to remind them forever. You know, we all know, don't we, as our industry, that what we do becomes more valuable as time goes by. But we've got to try and persuade our clients to understand that with the language that we use. Okay, so I think that's all the questions we have for today. So I just want to thank Michael and Laura and Jennifer for joining us. Thank you for sharing. I know you're very brave. You're very brave. I hope you've got something from it. And the recording, if you guys need it, is in the Photography Think Tank. So if you're not in there, join it, and the recording is in there for you. And if we can help you at all in BSA Insiders, we're happy when you've rebuilt your website. I'm happy to have a look at it with you and see if there's further advice I can give you. So thank you so much, guys. No matter where you are in the world, if you're with Jennifer, it's morning time in Hawaii. Oh, how I'd love a bit of sun now. If you're here with Laura and I in Europe, in the UK and Ireland, it's dark and dreary and grey and wet out. Michael, I don't know what it's like for you. What's the weather like for you?
It's dark and dreary and wet out.
Okay, so 3 out of 4, eh?
That's right.
So enjoy it, Jennifer. Good night, everybody. Stay safe, stay healthy. And on Thursday, we have a website double for you this week because we have Davy Dave, which I'm sure I'll pronounce this wrong, but Janika McDavitt and Jessica Jordana going through other aspects of your website. And these are geniuses in their own right. And we learn so much from them. So do join us if you can this Thursday. So this is website week. So stay safe, stay healthy, everybody. Bye for now. And we'll see you all soon.
Thank you.